Well, Christmas season is upon us, or almost, close enough. Are you ready? Is your church ready? Have you got everything all set, nice and ready for the cantata? Cantata? Do we still do cantatas? Anyway, we're going to be talking about that today, about some of the essentials you need to get things prepped and ready for the Christmas season. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Church Media Guys Show, where we learn how to use and exploit media and technology so we can take the gospel to the world. And if you are joining us for the first time and you want to learn how to do all that, start now by clicking that subscribe button and ringing that bell. With me, as always, is my partner in crime, Dr. Justin Nava. Good morning.
What's going on, Dave? And no, it's Mr. Justin Nava. I did not skip 4 years of medical school to be called doctor, okay?
Oh, sorry.
I am Mr. Justin Nava. What's going on, everyone? We're starting the stream a little late, so we're not doing any pre-show.
Yeah, sorry about that.
People are still coming in.
That was my fault.
Dave, tell me, how was my birthday weekend for you?
Oh, wait a sec. Did you not tell me it was your birthday weekend?
I don't tell anyone until after.
What the heck? What the heck? I'm the one person that should know out of everybody. Besides
you
your
should,
wife.
and
your dad.
You shan't.
Dang it. So what'd you turn? What'd you turn into?
42.
No, not even close.
I almost had him.
Yes.
The key is, I got this from a TV show. The key is you tell everyone you're 10 years older than you actually are.
Yeah.
And then you're the fountain of youth.
There you go. Okay, wait. So
Dude, you don't even look 42.
So you're 32.
I am 32 now. I have gone around the sun 32 times.
You've not outlived Jesus yet.
I've never thought about celebrating birthdays that way.
Yeah, it was funny when
No,
my wife.
I have not been crucified yet.
Well, there's always next year. My wife, when she turned 33, one of the little kids in the children's program or whatever said, "Hey, you're the same age that Jesus was when he died." She's like, "What?" Yeah,
that's man. I've never thought about that before.
I know.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Dave, before we get started, we're going to be talking about Christmas today. Can
Yes.
I share something? How
Please.
awesome our group is.
Yeah.
We have the CTA Insiders group, and Brady with Pro Church Tools did a video about TikTok a couple weeks ago, and it's really been exploding. And Chris shared it in our Church Media Hacks, but also in our CTA Insiders group, where you get access if you become a CTA Insider. churchtrainingacademy.com/join. You can find out information, just for us to really not just help each other out, but also share things that we're finding and bounce ideas off of each other. We meet every 2 weeks, but sometimes things happen on a Wednesday and we don't want to wait till, we all meet together. And so when we discovered, or not when we discovered, but when we kind of started talking about TikTok, I started intentionally going into the app every day and kind of exploring what's out there. And I've been on the platform since it was back when it was actually Musically. And that was basically just lip syncing and dumb dance videos. So I never went back. However, I'm going back to TikTok. And Dave, let me tell you, it's pretty fun. It's pretty cool. It's pretty time sinking.
Really?
Because basically the millennials have arrived. That's one of the memes on TikTok. Lots of 30-something parents coming on here like me. Lots of 40-year-old professionals coming in. People in their late 20s coming in. And so it's really interesting that you're kind of scrolling through and you're seeing these same stupid dance videos. And when I say stupid dance videos, I'm not talking about the cowboy boogie or the shuffle tutorials. Those are cool. I like those.
No, but you're talking about those Visky girls or whatever.
I'm talking about just the dumb sped up dancing videos. I don't know, whatever. But anyways, two things that I've noticed. So number one, the millennials have arrived and the Gen Xers are short behind us. Everyone's having a lot of fun on the platform. But also, two, they're really nailing the algorithm. Mm-hmm. So before, when it was Musically, you'd get on and you would just see dumb. But actually, as I've gone through and I've liked comedians, different people doing, remember the buddy that we met at YouTube that did the poetry on, not at YouTube. We met him at the video marketing conference, and he does the poetry, slam poetry or something on YouTube for Christian poetry. There's people doing that, not him specifically. If he is, I haven't seen him. His name's Joel. But there's other people doing that. There's people leaving encouraging words. There's people doing comedy stuff that I've never heard of. There's this Mississippi guy that's hilarious, and he just tells jokes. It's really diversified, and it's become a lot of fun. I may start doing content. I haven't decided. Apparently, I'm the third Justin Nava
No.
to join. I had Justin Nava when it was.
Really?
I had Justin Nava when it was Musically, but apparently it reset. And so now that I've tried to reserve my name, it's not there anymore. So
well, that isn't. Hang on a sec. I want to go back to this. You're like the only Nava. Period. I've never met anyone named Nava. I've Navarros.
Really?
I grew up with a bunch of Navarros.
Even growing up in Corpus.
I know. I got Navarros.
There are dozens of us, Dave. We're all over, especially South Texas.
Yeah, I know. Well, and it's funny because our buddy from Agora Pulse, Scott Ayers, he like knows a whole bunch of your people, and stuff like. And it's like, well, how? What? I've never come across anybody like this. Okay, so I'm really surprised that there's two more ahead of you on TikTok.
Yeah, and they don't do anything, so I can't even see who they are or anything.
That's horrible.
They're just lurkers,
I'm just going to reserve my name
I'm
and
ready
not
to come on
it.
here and start doing. I have some interesting ideas. So go find me on TikTok, Justin Nava 3.
Why didn't you do the Justin Nava?
I hate that, Dave.
Why didn't you do?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
I'll try that. Nobody take that name.
Yeah, you people that are watching right now live, don't do that.
Or maybe Justin Nava TikTok. I don't know.
No,
can't do. No. Okay.
The Justin.
So anyways, it's a lot of fun. So right now about 50% of what you'll see is the teens doing dumb stuff, but about 50% of what I see now, because of the algorithms, figured out kind of what I like with the videos that I finished watching. It's become a lot more enjoyable and very entertaining and very much a time sink where it's like, holy cow, where did those 30 minutes go? I haven't felt that way since early Facebook days.
Yeah,
so I'm actually pretty excited for the platform.
That's good. Excited. I've been thinking about getting on it and checking it out. I understand. It's one of these things where we as church media professionals, we need to be aware. It's just like the church communications folks and the marketers and all that sort of stuff. We need to keep our finger on the pulse of what's going on. And it's funny because that's one of the things that Sean Cannell and I talked about in the interview that we did a couple weeks back, is that there's billion people on these platforms, various platforms. The big ones are reaching 1, 2, 2.5 billion people that are using them and stuff. As church media people and as church marketers, if we're going to reach people, we have to go where they are. We can't, I always talk about you can't stand on the steps of your church, holding up your Bible and saying, sinners come in, sinners are welcome, all you sinners come away. Someone's going to hit you with a rotten tomato. You just got to go where they are, just like Jesus did. He went and there was a slut at the well, and so he went and sat down and talked to her. I mean, it doesn't get more real than that. He went to the tax collector, who was the thief, the official government thief of the town. He went and said, hey, I'm going to go over to your house. Let's go have some dinner at your place. Bring some friends. We got to do the same thing, which means we got to go be on TikTok and learn this thing, because it could replace Facebook, it could replace Instagram, it could replace YouTube for all we know. We just don't know, because it's growing and figuring out how to mature and how to be useful, and people are figuring out how to use it. So everybody go check it out. It's worth it.
Go check it out. Now I will say this. Let me say one more thing, and then we're going to get into Christmas, which is what we're here for. I'm going to say one more thing. Number one, because I see a lot of churches do this, they immediately join a program or an app or a platform, and they immediately start doing what they've already been doing before, and they try to take what they're already doing and just move it to a new place. Don't do that. I'm like reaching out into the camera to pull that urge out of you and pull it out. Here's my advice. Join TikTok if you haven't already, and spend 1 week, preferably 2. Spend 1 week consuming. See what people are doing. See what you like. See the creativity. And like I said, I haven't seen this kind of thing since early Facebook days. I haven't seen this amount of creativity on a social media platform since those early Facebook days. Dave, you would know this, but when I joined Facebook, I was in college, and people would post things, and it would get viral, but only in your little college group, right? Like you would have network friends outside of your college.
Your own little echo chamber.
People would like go on Facebook, and they would make Frisbee golf courses based on landmarks in the college, and there was a different course every day. And so you'd like go, you'd have to follow this one kid, he'd make the course, and then you'd have to go out and play it. And so and then that became something, oh, did you do the course from yesterday? Dude, that was insane. And it was like this conversation that just kept going, where someone would try on a different hat every day, which sounds so vanilla now. But back then, like you'd have a different picture with a different hat, and you'd be like, this guy's got like 300 hats, where he's getting them from? And it was something that started a conversation. the creativity that used to be Facebook is no longer there. Now everyone's sharing the same pictures of their families, the same pictures of their trips, the same memes, the same stuff about politics or whatever, the same arguments. On Instagram, it's the same pictures of food and the same pictures of half-naked ladies. On Twitter, it's the same rants and the same, kinds of tweets that keep going around and misinformation and whatever else. TikTok is completely different because it's all creativity. It's you live and die based on your creativity. There is no graphic post. There is no swipe up. There is no link in. There is a little bit of link in bio, but it's all about getting people to continue watching, to look at your videos, to see how you do something differently. You're in this creative box that I'm going to do the cowboy boogie, but how am I going to do it differently? I'm going to do this, tell you about this event coming up with the little meme that's like you put a question up and there's a song that the only words are yes and no. And so like you put something up and then you're like, yep. And then you put like a false statement up and then you're like, nope. And then so you do these different meming things. How are you going to do it differently? So, really take the time to consume it because this is the most creative platform. And so if you're not creative on TikTok, you're shooting yourself in the foot and you're wasting your time. So really think about that. And number two, like we always say, your kids should be running the train. Just like they would on Instagram or Snapchat or wherever else you're trying to have a ministry presence. You should really be consulting with your kids because it's real hard to be a 40-something, 50-something-year-old and find success. There are people on TikTok that have done that. But I think you really need to have someone you need to have your student ministry consulting.
Yeah, that makes sense. And your youth pastor definitely needs to be doing it as well. The family pastor and stuff. And that's one of the things is if you remember when Snapchat came out, and for those who don't know, Snapchat was originally created because of these guys, whoever these people are that created Snapchat. They wanted to have a way to do the naked pictures and stuff that would go away. So they wanted to be able to enable, somebody to have a texting affair or whatever with somebody and send naked pictures and do stuff like that. It's horrible. And then people started finding out about Snapchat and using it for other things, and there's still that dark underbelly to it, but then we're using it for a whole bunch of other things. If we get in early, if all of Christendom gets in early on a platform like this, we can kind of help guide the way the content is going to be on there. There are going to be outliers that do stuff that's inappropriate and whatever else, but now's the time. It's kind of it's kind of an old west on something like that. Let me say hey to some of the folks that are in the thing. Dr. Kumar, I see your message and I keep hiding it. So please quit posting it. We really appreciate it, though. Dr. Kumar said that he was thanking us, Justin, for doing the live streaming guide and that it's helped his folks be able to get live streaming and all that, and he wanted to say thank you for that. So, Dr. Kumar, I do see that, and I am hiding it. Because we're not promoting other channels right now in our live stream. Hey to Chris, hey to Jordan, and let's see. Jordan says TikTok is owned by a Chinese company. Okay, that's cool. Yep. Be careful what you share. Let's have that caveat.
Yeah.
Just be careful what you share on there. But it's a platform to try and to use right now, and we'll see where it takes us. So, what is our topic today again, Mr. Justin?
Yeah, so let's actually get into our topic today. We got people that are sitting here wondering, oh, we're talking about Christmas. My name is Jonathan. I don't know. What's up, Jonathan, if you're watching? 2019 Christmas planning essentials. Dave, it's what are we talking about? Did we just celebrate Thanksgiving? Why are we talking about Christmas already?
No, it's so funny. Here's what happened.
Canadian Thanksgiving does not count, Jordan.
Yeah, so don't even type it. Don't even put it in the comments, Jordan. We don't want to hear about that. Your Canadian Thanksgiving. Actually, it's like almost time for theirs. Like within a.
Is it? I thought it was early October, but I digest. We're talking about Christmas. It's October.
Every time you say that, dude, I'm like.
I know. I say it just for you now.
Thank you.
It's October right now. It's exactly in the middle of October. October 15th. Why are we talking about Christmas right now?
Because there's a ramp up to some of this stuff. Now there's this. I I don't know. I guess it's not really a theory. It's kind of a fact that we figured out over the last few years about like the most visited church events throughout the year. And I was surprised when you told me that like number one is Mother's Day because people come in to be with mom. You know, it's like
no. Easter.
Easter
Easter's
okay.
number one.
So
and then usually Christmas is number two, but Mother's Day is number three.
yeah, so Easter, Christmas, and Mother's Day. Yeah, I was surprised about Mother's Day, but that makes sense because we're celebrating mom, so that's cool. But Christmas is the second highest traveled event that your church is going to do. So you're going to get the most people, whether you're doing a midnight mass or whether you're doing a Christmas musical, doing a Friday night, Saturday night, and a Sunday morning. I mean, that's what we used to do when we were growing up, when we would do these really big extravaganzas, So,
and shout out real quick to places like the Rio Grande Valley where I came from, maybe even Corpus where you came from. Christmas is actually number one down there.
Oh, cool.
Because it's, I'm not sure why, it's either the Hispanic culture or the Catholic heavy culture. Our Christmas was always bigger than Easter, which was a shock to me coming out of the Beltway.
Right.
The Bible Belt.
Bible Belt, yes.
There you go.
Yes.
So Christmas could be your number one, depending on your culture.
Exactly. So the planning for it usually starts kind of early. And in fact, at our church, I'm not kidding. We got our Easter stuff done. It was like the end of the Easter service, and everybody, most people had left, and our worship pastor was there, or maybe it was like the next day. I went up there to check something, and he and I were in the auditorium cleaning up or doing something. And I remember I was sitting down for a sec, checking. I think I was actually texting you, and he said, "Okay, don't hit me, but here's what I'm thinking for Christmas." And he starts laying out this really elaborate thing. And so he and I started like blocking off stuff in the church. Like, here's where we're going to do this. Here's where we're going to do that. We need to get this. And we started that planning. I am not kidding. The day after Easter. Okay. Now that planning has been like really, really loose, and it has tightened up over the months and all that. And we're now at the part where it's, we need to like schedule some time and go shoot some of these clips that we're going to be using as a part of our mixed media in this whole thing. But, back when I was growing up, like we started the Christmas music practice like in the summer. They would start running through numbers and all that, and then it would, as school started to get more intense and all that, and then by the time Thanksgiving was there, they were able to do it without having to use the books and the papers and all that sort of stuff. So I don't think you can really start too early, unless you start like on the 26th. Or something.
Yeah, this is some early Christmas planning has been something that the music ministry has owned for a long time, right? Christmas, you start Christmas music practice in July or September or August. And I remember even growing up, I was in the orchestra, and we would do Christmas in July, where people would come and we'd invite you to come sing or come play an instrument and see the Christmas music that we're going to do. And we'd play a couple pieces and maybe decide what everyone liked. And then that would be the program that we did. Music ministry has always kind of owned early Christmas planning. However, as the culture has changed and, communications and media and marketing and just getting your word out there, whatever you want to call it, has shifted. I mean, it's very important to know what you're doing ahead of time, and it can be difficult. And this is one of the things we're gonna touch on. So don't leave yet. If you're like, I'm just the sound guy, I don't have any say. And when we start Christmas planning, we're gonna get to you in a second. Okay, don't worry. There's gonna be a way that you can help.
Absolutely.
But what we're talking about, is that especially this year.
Mm-hmm.
Thanksgiving is like on November 26th or something like that. It's like at the end of November. It's really late. November 28th, right? Because the first day of November is on a Friday. So we've got almost the entirety of November before Thanksgiving.
Right.
So that means that between Thanksgiving and Christmas is less than 4 weeks. 1, 2, 3 weeks and 6 days. So if you do not start planning Christmas till after Thanksgiving, two things are going to happen. Number one, you're going to have less than 4 weeks to figure out what's going on. That's less than 4 weeks to practice your cues, to get your scenes, to make your graphics, to post your posts, to print your flyers, to get all this stuff out there. Number two, that also means that with Thanksgiving so late, your congregation, your membership are going to have their Christmas plans set in stone because it's less than 4 weeks away. So you cannot wait. You cannot afford to wait until after Thanksgiving to start your Christmas plans. You've got to start them early.
And
because
And to think about this, most churches do not do their Christmas musical or whatever it is, their Christmas pageant, whatever we're calling them, do not do it like the week of Christmas or Christmas Day or Christmas night or something like that. It may be on the 12th. It may be, a couple of weeks before that because, a lot of businesses, and I'm not kidding, every single company that I have worked for my entire adult life has taken the week of Christmas off. It's not like Christmas and Christmas Day and the day before or something like that, and then you're back on the 27th. No, it's like they block that week. If it's on a Thursday, it's that week. If it's on a Monday, it's that week. We block that time off, and I know a lot of companies are trying to do that. So people are traveling, or they're taking vacation days, or they're doing stuff like that. So it isn't going to be the 22nd that we're doing our big Christmas thing in the average church. It's going to be the 9th. Or it's going to be the 13th or something like that. So you have shorter time. Like right now, you got like less than 6 weeks.
Yeah, basically. So let's get into kind of where we are right now. The other thing I was going to say was, a lot of families will have their Christmas plans set in stone, like mid-November. Like they know where they're going, if they're traveling, if they're staying home, is family coming in, what are we going to do that week, the weekend before? I'm telling you, I know that on December 14th, I am going to Champions Forest Baptist Church Christmas program because it's important to my family. And because they advertised it first, we're going there first, right? Anything else happening on the 14th is, sorry, you didn't tell me early enough, right? So you have that advantage when you start planning early. You can start getting the word out there and start getting people committing to your events. So we're going to take it in kind of 3 stages. Number one, stage 1, establish your goals. And ideally, we want to have this done by October. But if you haven't started right now, start figuring out your goals. Dave, what are your church's goals for Christmas?
My church specifically?
Yeah.
We want to reach families.
We want to have a Christmas.
Yes, we want to. Yes. What we want to do is provide a family worship experience. That's our primary goal. We understand that there's going to be a lot of people there, and the gospel does get presented and all that. But Christmas for us, and I think a lot of churches, is an internal celebration. We want to invite people, and we want them to learn about Christ. Of course, that's the whole goal of everything like that. But it's not a gigantic, a huge outreach type thing. We're doing it, and we would love people to come, and we want you to bring your family, and we want your family to have a worship experience where you get to be introduced to Christ if you've never really had it put in the appropriate perspective. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. And this is exactly what I'm talking about, because now that by now you have 2 months that you want it to be a family experience, what else can you do, or how else can ministries support you around that? Right. So I'm already thinking family experience. I have no idea what you're doing, but in my church, right, if we were focused on a family experience, we're going to have the Christmas Eve evening service, right? Well, how about a family meal? My last church was huge on family meals. We always called them, we didn't call them fellowship breakfast, or we called them family breakfast or family meals. How about a family meal beforehand? Maybe dessert with the family afterwards. Maybe a snowball fight afterwards. Some
down in the valley.
By the way, quick tip. Down in the valley, you can go to a raspa stand in the valley or a snow cone stand. Bahama Bucks, if you're in a city, does this, and you can just ask him to just crunch a bunch of ice or shave a bunch of ice for you. Put it in a cooler. You can have a snowball fight no matter where you are.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that's something fun for the kids. That's a family event. I would take my daughter to that. Maybe you do caroling around that too. Maybe you have an event where you have tables set up around the gym or the fellowship hall, and carolers come to you and they're part of the choir. And it's kind of that family atmosphere, that just joyousness. It's like all this is coming to my head simply because we've established a goal of a family experience. And what do families want? What do they care about? Well, the kids need to have a good time. Mom needs to be not stressed about getting all dressed up.
Right.
So you communicate that stuff. You put that on your website to kind of do that. And when you're finding out about this on November 20th and the event is on December 1st or December 4th, you can't sit there and think, okay, well, how can we get all these ministries involved? They've got their own thing going on, and there's no way you're going to get all these moving pieces. So a couple other goals for you, you know, do you want to bring in families? Do you want to engage singles? Do you want to reach young kids, teenagers? How many people do you want to see come in? Because that's going to depend on, is it going to be in your gym, your sanctuary? Are you going to have to rent out a place? Is it going to be outside? What's the weather going to be like? How many volunteers do you need to pull this off? It's a family event, which means we're going to have security for the kids. Make sure we have, I don't know, whatever, if you have special restroom rules. Do you need to have nursery available? So you need nursery volunteers. You need to have the nursery stocked and cleaned and all that on a Saturday night versus a Sunday morning. You know, and then what's your budget? Knowing all these things in advance, even if you don't have the details, is going to start guiding your planning, and also kind of help you on the media side. You know, what do we need for the media? So we're going to have the snowball fight outside, right? This is where you, the media guy, says, how are we going to get lighting out there?
Right.
How are we going to get sound out there? Do we have a PA system that we can take out on a small board, or do we need to figure out how we're going to run speakers outside? Do we need to build little, I don't know what you call them, the boards on casters so we can move the speakers out?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
It's all stuff you don't want to figure out 2 days before.
Right.
You want to figure it out weeks before.
As well as who's going to be photographing, who's going to be shooting video, who's going to be catching all these things, and then later compiling them into a memory for the Facebook page.
100%. 100%. So by now, and I would say ideally by the end of September, but ideally right now, if you haven't started, talk to your pastor, say, hey, how can I support you right now planning Christmas?
Yeah, we're talking to the procrastinators today.
Yeah. So, or people that may not even think they're procrastinating. It's only October. I get it. But let's say you're the sound guy. Let's say you're just the social media volunteer. I still want to challenge you. And if you're watching right now, I want you to comment in the chat. Say, I'm going to ask my pastor. Comment right now. Put it in the chat. Say, I'm just a volunteer. I'm just one small piece of the puzzle. I want you to find your pastor or associate pastor, or give a call to the church office and say, hey, this is Justin. I help with the social media. I just wanted to go ahead and get my brain focused on Christmas, maybe even Thanksgiving. How can I best support what the pastor wants to do? And oftentimes the pastor will say, that's a good idea. Let me think about it. I would come back and say, cool, man, can I help you? Can we have lunch? And let's just bounce some ideas off each other. You know, I watch these guys called the church media guys, and they were talking about how important it is for early Christmas planning. Maybe we can get a head start on that, and I can help you, right? It's not enough just to say, oh, the pastor doesn't plan on Christmas early enough. So try to help, right? Try to help. Offer your assistance, okay? Especially if you're an insider, right? Because you can help. You can bring those ideas to the mastermind, and we'll help you flesh them out even more. But yeah, so just, even if you're just the sound guy, say, hey, what are we doing? How can I support you? Well, we're doing a pageant. Okay. Well, right now we only have 16 channels, and you know, what kind of you are you thinking? So we need to start finding a second board. You know, whether you borrow it from a church, or you finally buy one, or you go to a pawn shop and get one. You know, so, anything that you can do to help is going to make your life easier when you're not trying to squeeze 20 channels into a 16 channel board 2 weeks before the performance, or worse, at dress rehearsal. Does that make sense, Dave?
Yeah, totally.
It's been a while since I've run sound, but those things.
No, it totally makes sense. 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
So stage 2 is to start the visuals, or start the visual branding. And this should really be done by November. Yeah. So tell me, with your family atmosphere, have y'all started, and your Christmas events, have y'all started putting together the visuals and everything, the videos, graphics, website, anything like that?
So we are working on stuff like that. Nothing's been published yet because we're in a different promotion right now. We have a promotion, a sermon series, all that we're working on that is going through November 10th, and then after that, then all the other stuff will be, in a wind up to Christmas. So the worship pastor and I are working on stuff right now, and let me give you an idea of one of the things that we're doing. Instead of doing just a musical, or just doing four special choral songs and a couple of acoustic solo things, and then 3 communal worship songs or something, kind of a hodgepodge type deal. we're doing mixed media. So we're going to be going back and forth between some drama on the stage, some music performance, audience engagement stuff, as well as video sequences that we have to shoot. Now, he and I started talking early this year, like I said, like the day after Easter. We started talking about one of the things that we wanted to do was some of these video things. And here's what I'm thinking, is what he starts going over, kind of walking through the Mary and Joseph journey, the high points of their Messiah story, right? Their birth story. So, Mary being visited by the angel, Joseph being visited by the angel, Mary going to see her cousin, and John, and recognizing that the Messiah was, on the other side of the belly, that whole kind of thing. So that we wanted to show some of those things. Now, in 2 or 3 towns over from us, there is a church that has a Bethlehem village on their property that they have built, and they at Easter and at Christmas time they do a big, huge thing, where they're like people in the community are playing parts. They're interacting with guests as they walk through. There's these little vignettes that happen, all the way from the birth to the crucifixion to the resurrection. I mean, these people have it's like a little movie set over there. So Jason and I were like, okay, look, we need to get with these people, find out, do they set this up and tear it down? Is it sitting there kind of like a ghost town, for the, with the things are just boarded up? And can we get over there for a few days, and can we open up a few things and put some lights in them and shoot some stuff there? So we finally found out who to contact and stuff, and they were like, yeah, we have it ready and stuff, but we got to get people scheduled to go over there to help you and do all this sort of stuff. And by the time we finally got all that sort of stuff, they're like, yeah, you can come out on Thursday. And we're like, it's Tuesday, and we hadn't even yeah. completely figured out the sequences that we wanted to shoot, much less who's going to come and help us shoot this sort of stuff. So the earlier that you plan this sort of stuff, the more the better it is, and the more elaborate you can do. So that's currently the kind of stuff we're going through, is like plan B on this. And here we are, we've got plan B. It's a different visual experience. It's going to be a modern telling, but we're going to be using, King James English, Old English, Middle English, just like when you watch a modern Shakespeare type deal. So, we've got our plan B, but now we have to fall back on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of a quick bonus, stepping away from the visual branding, a little bit of the visuals. When you start ahead of time, you have a little bit of time to try to network with other churches.
Right.
So something that I enjoy is, I follow other churches on Instagram, and there's a local church that I really enjoy their Instagram because they have a very unique style of shooting, and I can't put my finger on it. And when it's November and you want to do this, you want to try this for Christmas, because it's just, you need to learn it before Christmas, or you've seen how they've photographed or videoed their last Christmas pageant. You have time to call them like you guys did, say, hey, can you connect me with your photographer, because I just want to pick his brain. And I've never done that and gotten a no.
That's cool.
Even with other professionals, hey, I reached out to someone last week who was a web designer and also a story brand guide, and I was like, dude, you're exactly who I want to be. Can I pick your brain? And absolutely 100% we're competition. But he was like, yeah, sure. What do you want to know? Like, how can I help you? Like, and I would do that for anyone that asked me that question. That's what we're doing right now. We're teaching people how to make websites and do their own live streams versus paying us to do it. So start contacting. If you like something someone did last year, another church, you got a swipe file going, or you have this memory of, man, I remember 3 years ago, the church down the street did this crazy thing, this crazy logo. And how did they do that? Right? Reach out to them. Maybe they'll even give it to you. Maybe it's like VBS. I didn't know we did this, but at my last church, we basically just swapped VBS around churches. So everyone bought one VBS, and then it just kind of rotated.
Yeah.
So
yeah, a lot of
this
churches
church did
that.
Star Wars, and then this church did Star Wars, and then this year we did Star Wars VBS, and it just kind of all went around. And of course, the parents don't care, and the kids don't care. It's all a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll give you some of their assets as well, and that's one of the benefits of planning early. So yeah, so you want to start getting together that Christmas look. In November, start building out your Christmas landing page, because again, you want to get commitments early, because by Thanksgiving, people know what their Christmas plans are. Again, I already know in October that on December 14th, I'm going to Champions Forest Baptist Church. You can find me there at the Christmas program with my family because, you know, it's something that's important to my family. We are invited to, and they planned ahead. And so we're going. Right. So if your church was to invite me, and perhaps you're better equipped to serve my family, because Champions Forest is a huge church, maybe your church would be a better fit for me. But because you were late on the ball, I'm not going.
Yeah, I don't know about you.
I'm going to miss that opportunity.
Right.
I don't know about you. Right. And of course, Champions Forest is not a local church to me. It's a bit of a drive. So, you know, you want to make sure that
they're not the crazy one, right?
No. So you want to make sure that you have your stuff together, so that way you can start promoting it as early as November, but also just it's ready to print. December 1st hits, you're ready to start promoting. Send it to the printer. You don't got to design it. You don't got to approve it. You don't got to make revisions or edits or changes. It's going, it's done. And so ideally, stage 2, start your visual blank. Start knowing what lighting setups you need. By now, you know the music program, probably, if you're doing a pageant or something. Start figuring out what scenes you need, where spots are going to go. If you have to hang up special trusses to get spotlights that you don't normally have, start planning those out, because you don't want to be doing that Johnny on the spot. You want to know exactly, you know, the cherry picker comes in on December 4th. It's going to go this way. We're going to bring it in here. We're going to put it up there. We're going to put the spotlights here. We're going to control it from over here. It's just so much easier. I've been on both sides of that, the non-planned and the planned side, and it just goes so much better. One year, Dave, let me tell you a funny story, because we didn't plan. And this was, I don't think anyone's fault, but we had a Christmas pageant, and there's a scene where all the kids come in, and I don't know why, but the day before during dress rehearsal, the music pastor just looked at me. I'm running lights, and he's like, can we get, what was it called? A light run where all the lights just go on and off? I can't remember
like
what
a
it's
chase.
Called. Chase. There you go. A chase. I had no idea how to do that on this board. First of all, the board's 20 years old. It's as old as I was at the time. And I had no idea what to do. So literally, I was figuring out, I couldn't figure it out. And so literally, like the hour before the performance, I was just like, hey, tell me how this looks. And I just did this on the board with all the lights. And I wish I could have figured out how to program it and all of that stuff. And maybe the board couldn't.
And they're like, yes, that's it.
I had to figure it out on the fly. And then he was like, yeah, that looks good. And then I had to try to remember, okay, so did I go like this? Or did I go like this? Or did I go like, I was really scared and nervous. And that could have been prevented if we knew what we wanted ahead of time.
If you're listening on the podcast, Justin has been like waving his fingers back and forth like he's playing with the sliders, you know, on a thing. It's like, did I start with my pinky on the right hand side and wave to my pinky on the left? Was I starting in the middle and going out? So yeah, sorry. You missed. If you're listening, you missed his arms and fingers flailing around like mad.
Yeah, exactly. Because what I didn't want to do was, some of our channels were dead. Again, it was a 20-year-old whiteboard. So what I didn't want to do is to get my fingers in a certain position where all the lights were off.
Right.
And then a kid trips on the stairs.
Right.
So I was like really careful, like nervous about making sure that some light was on so they could see. All right, let's move on to stage 3. Of course, starting to... Oh, go ahead.
Just real quick, Chris Hall, he's one of our moderators in the chat. He brought up a good point. He said, this is not the time to upgrade anything in media. I will agree with him with a couple of caveats, okay? The caveats are, if you're, you know, now is not the time to be trying to upgrade your iMac to Catalina when you're, you know, very pro-presenter, you know, dependent on something like this, because if you're in that space and you've been following it and stuff, you know that the two are not working right now, that the pro presenter people still have some fine tuning to do because of a lot of changes that have happened in the latest update to OS, Mac OS, right? So something like that, you can wait till, you know, there's no push, there's no rush to do that. However, when it comes to something like we want to add a camera. You know, we're going to be buying a camera. We're ending the year, our budget year. So now's the time to go ahead and get this thing bought. You do have time to get it installed. You know, if it's, you know, if you're having someone come in and doing it professionally, great. But you've got some weekends. You've got Saturdays. between now and then, that you can go ahead and get it installed. Even if you're not going to use it, you can still get it in place. And if everything is working, now you've got some time, some evenings, that you can go up there and practice. You do have some runway with something like that. You don't have runway the Monday before the Friday night performance with stuff like that. Everything should be dialed in and locked in and ready so that, and you should be practicing with what you currently have at that point, not trying to add, throw a wrench in the work, because inevitably it may work, but you don't want to have to depend on it.
Yeah, I'm with you too. You got to use your discretion, and by your discretion, I mean probably ask someone else because you're just excited. I would be excited to be like, hey, Jonathan said we can get a digital board for the Christmas pageant.
Yeah, don't change out the sound system. No. Do not completely redo the sound system.
Even if you got 2 months ahead of time.
Do that in June.
Don't switch from Media Shout to Pro Presenter in November. I wouldn't do that. But like the example I used before, that's a real life example. If you got a 16-channel board, but you need 20 channels for the pageant, go ahead and go to the pawn shop and get a board, or steal the youth board and start practicing with that in November.
Right.
That's an addition. It's not a major change. It goes right back. You're not learning new software, learning new hardware. Maybe even, I would do in November, we have to group the drums channels together into one something. I don't know. So we're going to practice that. But hey, if it doesn't work out, we know how it goes normally, so we can just put it right back, and we can try to improve it that way. And if it doesn't work, we just go back to the old way. But don't do any major upgrades. And as excited as you are, if they say the year is running out and we need to buy the digital board now, perfect. Give me the credit card on December 26th.
Yeah, exactly.
After Christmas is over.
Right.
Okay, so let's go on to stage 3 and wrap this up. This is obvious, starting in December or whenever you need to start. If you're Champions Force, it starts in October. Start your content campaign.
Yes.
Start putting the word out on social media and your website. Now, pay attention to how I said that. I did not say start your advertising campaign.
Right.
Although that is part of it. You need to start your content campaign.
Yes.
Okay. There's a lot of noise going on. In fact, Seth Muse reshared a very good blog that he did where he talks about, is your announcements just adding to the noise, or is it actually being valuable and making an impact on someone? Mm-hmm. This kind of goes back to a little bit of what we were talking about TikTok at the beginning. You don't want to just throw what you're already doing out there on TikTok, because that's not what it is. It's a creative platform. It's a fun platform. It's an entertaining platform. If you want to throw a graphic up there in a 10-second video, don't do that. You got to start thinking about that. Sorry,
that got on
that
the
clip
camera. No.
So think about your content. Yes, you should have invite cards. Yes, you can have flyers. Yes, you can run Facebook ads. I mean, I love that stuff. That's great. But also think about how you're going to use content to speak into people's lives, grab their attention, provide them with something valuable,
mm-hmm.
and make them remember you and want to learn more or want to come to your event. So Dave, your family-focused Christmas thing, already I'm thinking of, do a content campaign around your kids. Families have kids, okay? 20 crafts. This is a lot.
Oh, sure.
A lot. 20 crafts for your kid, or one craft a day for Advent. That's one Facebook post a day.
Yep.
Film a kid doing a craft, right? Brandon Swain, last time we talked about Christmas with Brandon Swain, he actually said that they did a video campaign of their staff trying to do kids crafts.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
And so that's like funny. It's entertaining. Oh, look at Pastor Joe trying to make a little snowflake, and it's really funny.
It comes out looking like an ashtray.
Yeah, and Pastor Joe's like, I have other gifts, and it's funny, behind the scenes footage, setting up the pageantry, showing the cherry picker coming into the gym to set it up for it.
Exactly.
The extra volunteers that you have and how great they're doing.
Yep.
Pastors, you got stuff on your mind, start a blog campaign for 4 weeks. Start writing some posts on your blog and sharing them out. Do some Christmas vlogging. You can do a lot with content when you're not just trying to announce something,
right? But
you're trying to actually make an impact with someone.
When you're doing these rehearsals, do a little live stream. Have somebody do a little live stream. While they're up in the music room and they're kind of hammering out how this sort of stuff goes. People people enjoy seeing stuff like that, especially if you use that to take them on a journey where when they're starting out, he's like, no, guys, you have to do this, guy, and it's like really technical. It's like, and do ha 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 ha, now you have to do, that sort of stuff. It's like that's going to speak to the existing congregation, not as an outreach thing, but the internal. It's going to speak to the people that are on the Facebook page or in the Facebook private group. It's going to speak to them that, wow, they're really putting it together for us, that they're working hard for us. This is great. I'm getting excited. You can get that buzz starting to go because this week, wow, they're sounding better. Oh, wow, look at that. They're actually they're doing a drama this year. That's cool. And the camera is doing a live stream while the two people are on stage talking. And they're just kind of going back and forth. I mean, you're bringing them in on this process. There's a reason that back in the day of DVDs and Blu-rays, I know they're still out there, but we don't have near as many as we used to, but people would always take a look at the behind the scenes stuff to see how things are being made and all that sort of stuff. You guys can do that exact same thing. So I encourage everybody to make that a part of your content strategy throughout the week or on a Tuesday night when you have a rehearsal or something like that. Whatever, just do that. That's awesome stuff.
Yeah, a little anecdote. We actually did a VBS planning meeting. I mean, you can use all this for Christmas, Thanksgiving, VBS, Easter. It's good all the time.
Whatever the event is.
Whatever the event is. We had what we would do at my last church was we would do a VBS volunteer meeting, and we would actually use that time to not only just talk about, do the children's safety course and sign up for whatever, but we also use that time to get to know each other and some team building for the teams. We would actually do the crafts that we were going to do for VBS. And that did two things. Number one, we got to make sure that the crafts actually worked.
Right.
Because there's a difference between reading it in a book and trying to do it in person. And we'd figure out, this craft actually needs this kind of disc and not this. The difference
is between your craft project and what you saw on Pinterest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very true. And so we would do that. And so I, of course, grabbed my phone and I started live streaming. And I just said, hey, look at Mr. Chuck here. I know everyone loves Mr. Chuck. Look at him try to make a spinny top out of the kids' craft materials. And people were commenting, y'all are doing this at VBS? When's VBS? When do I sign up? Where do I sign up? What time is it this year? And people were like really interested because they were seeing they were having fun watching the adults, but then they were also thinking about, this is what my kids are going to do. Right. And, I think sometimes too, we think back, we think of our VBS experiences. Yours were obviously different than mine, but it's kind of like, okay, they're just going to make more shrinky dinks and they're going to color more sword Bible combination, whatever. I don't know.
Right.
Whatever. But you actually see the fun crafts that we're doing now that we just never did. I mean, like some of the crafts are like chemistry experience, and the kids love it. They're making foam and slime and stuff. And it's like, my daughter would love that. Where do I sign up? And those behind the scene things really speak to people. And when you just do something besides come to our event, it's Saturday. Yeah. You'll love it. Join us. All that other stuff, that's noise.
Yeah, that's noise.
But when you actually pour into people and have things that provide value to them, you provide a blog post that teaches a Christmas moment, you share a kid's craft that they can do with their children, maybe a devotional, maybe take your sermon series from last week and turn it into a 30-second prayer for 5 days of Christmas, for Christmas, right? You got you had like a 5-week Christmas series, right? Condense it down into 30 seconds and turn it into a prayer and say, let's pray this together. Pray this with your family before dinner. I tell you what happens is dad's going to be like, okay, I guess, whatever. And mom's going to be like, let's try this. And the kids are going to be like, oh, the food's right in front of us. I'm hungry. But y'all are going to pray together as a family. And when you're done, dad's going to be like, all right, that wasn't bad. And the kid's going to be like, oh, yeah, that's right. That's what we talked about in school. And maybe it starts a conversation or Sunday school, And so, you're providing value to these people, to the people following you. So you're not just an announcement machine. I don't know how much I'm going to keep harping on this, but once you start December, you should start that content machine, getting all your advertisements out, but also create some extra content. And you've got 2 months now. Start thinking about what you can do.
Right. One of the things that you keep harping on the not just being an announcement machine and stuff. That's something that we all fall back into, and it's simply because of the mindset that a lot of people that are working in church ministry are in. The mindset is, and this part is okay, is we want to get as many people to whatever the event is as possible. That's fine. What you haven't realized yet, and it's something that when I'm talking about doing the live streaming, I know Justin's probably tired of it, but I always say, okay, we need to stipulate that we're a ministry, and the goal here is to bring people to the saving knowledge of Christ. Okay, great. We're going to set that aside. We're going to look at the mechanics of what we're doing. We're we're an organization that produces a live event every single weekend. And when you start looking at it from that perspective, then you can start looking at the areas that are needed to make that happen and how you should treat that, because to an outsider, to someone else that's out there, they're there to consume the content. Okay? I don't care what you want them to be there for. I don't care that you want them to be there to worship the Lord. You can't make them want to do that. You can't reach into their head and say, you have to be like this. You have to accept where they are. They are there to be spoken to or to ingest whatever the content is that we're creating, okay? And then we use that to reach into their lives, okay? So when you're doing something like this, when we're talking about this extra content and stuff, don't be an announcement machine. You have to look at yourself as a YouTube creator. You have to look at yourself as a person who is running a TV show or running some sort of a content machine that is putting out content to engage and entertain people and to get their attention and to focus them maybe into a direction that you want them to go through the message of your content. So you have to deliver value. Justin and I, when we put this show together, when we do our YouTube videos, when we do our courses, when we do our guides, when we do all that sort of stuff, we are thinking about what value can we deliver to you, the person on the other side of this camera lens, or the person on the other side of the PDF or the web page or the course. What value can we bring to you so that you get what you need out of what we are putting out there? And you've got to do the exact same thing. You've got to not think, Justin and I could always just say, go join Church Training Academy, churchtrainingacademy.com/join if you want to learn anything from us. Yes, go pay your $37 a month, and then we'll really give you some value. Or we could continually give you value and continually speak to you and continually help you in any way that we possibly can. And oh, by the way, you can go even deeper if you become a member of Church Training Academy. Same thing. You can put out this content. You can give value to the people that are in your church and the people that you want to reach, okay? And then through that, they can kind of go through the flow and become a part of the congregation, have a relationship with Christ, join the mission team, whatever else it is, without you just going, come be at the pageant, come join the mission team. And, that's just noise. Close parentheses.
So question of the day has started Christmas planning. If you have not, will you ask your pastor how you can help? That's it. That's all you have to do. Pastor, how can I help? Will you do that? Comment down below. Have you started planning? And if not, will you ask your pastor? I want you to commit. I want you to do that. It's not that hard. Pastor, how can I? Dave, how can I help you plan for Christmas? See, that was so easy.
That was really easy. I have a camera you can run around with if you want. Awesome.
I'll be busy.
Well, hopefully you guys have gotten some value out of this, and hopefully we've given you some stuff that you can take and use to go change lives. And if you want to continue this discussion, leave comments below. And otherwise, we will see you in this one or that one or one of these videos around here or something like that. Anyway, we'll see you guys in the next one.